Dubai 2025. Deals don't start in boardrooms anymore. They start on the court. I raised capital over a double espresso after paddle. I've closed 7 figures after winning 2 sets with my paddle partner. If you don't know what paddle is and how it's taking the sports world and business world by storm, this video will be an eye-opener. Today, I'm talking to a guy who turned weekly matches into a powerful business network. No cold emails, no suits, no slide decks, just sweat, sneakers, and smart conversations between sets and after. I'm Peter Ivantsov from GCT Structuring, and with me is Jax, founder of the Dubai Padel Network. Jax is from Guernsey and joined our team to work with UK-based clients. He's met sheikhs, closed international deals, and built an entire ecosystem, all while holding a racket. If you're in Dubai and not networking for sport, you're already behind. Let's find out how Padel is reshaping business one match at a time. Jax, tell us a little bit about how it came into your mind of starting this Dubai Padel Network.
Well, I wanted to link 2 things together that I've got a passion for, which was sport and business. I joined the 2 and I was an ex-tennis player. So I decided to step on the paddle court, like I said, bring the 2 together and start to grow the network.
Would you say you were very good at the beginning at playing paddle, or?
I was a tennis player trying to play paddle, which is what a lot of people are doing, transitioning over to the sport. I had to get used to the surroundings, the glass at the back, the fence at the side, the different size court. So it took some time to transition over, but I think I'm getting to be a paddle player by now.
Good. When did you really realize that this paddle was more than just a sport, but it was a really powerful business tool?
I think a number of reasons. The first one is probably when I had to start booking, 4 or 5 courts with the amount of people that wanted to come down, and it was getting really popular. The conversations that were happening, both on the court and over a coffee, and the fact that if we had 16 players, you'd have 15 of those staying behind to talk business and interact with each other and form new connections.
My name's Juan Galan. I have a stem cell clinic here in Dubai called Panacea Cell Therapy. Sports is, to me, it's always been a microcosm of life. It's not always fair. You put in what you get, you get out what you put into it. So it's a lot of hard work. You got to work with other individuals. You got to work with their strengths, their weaknesses. You got to figure out how to achieve a common goal. So I think in a business, it's the same setting. They're not all A players. You got good people, and you got to figure out how to navigate the waters that come up. This network here is phenomenal. Number one, it's just a bunch of good guys. So hanging out with them is just the number one benefit. But the second part is a lot of smart individuals here. You got industry leaders in every field. So the collaboration that we get, the ability to share information, to see things from a different perspective is phenomenal. So this networking group is fantastic.
So you formed, which is, I would say, one of the best networks that I've been a part of. And how many real business cases have you had since the inception, which is what, 2 years ago? Mm-hmm. Do you know of any real business cases that has happened because of the network?
Yeah, a number. I guess the first one was a individual who was selling his home. He was helped from someone who had experience in real estate. We had 2 paddle players that joined forces in the business world. We had a very large PR agency, probably one of the biggest in the GCC, run by Greg Frey. You won't mind me mentioning him. And they've now formed a digital company off the back of meeting Rahul. So they joined forces. And now they have 7 digital. So there's another great example. I think a third one, I know Charlie, who's been influential in this. He's had checks written into some of his healthcare and medtech opportunities. So I could go on. The list is almost endless in terms of group members helping each other, money being made and checks being written.
My name's Sebastian Brown. I'm the head of institutional sales at eBury Partners in DIFC. I think Dubai's come a long way now, and people are looking for connection, community, people that are in the same industry, that just want to bond and connect over a game, over sport. So that's one thing. And then the business aspect as well. I think, it's very selective in terms of who's here. You've got decision makers who can make a difference, and it's been great. we've had a lot of great business interactions with the community of the paddle networks. Just last week, we met someone new in the fund center that was referred by GCG. They were doing some work. They needed a banking solution, came to Ebury. We were able to help them as well. So it's a real ecosystem that they've developed here, and it's been fantastic for Ebury's growth as well in the region.
I'm Patrick Orr. I'm running my own asset management company, Design Capital. We're mainly focused on fund management, asset management, and wealth management. Ever since these 2 years, I've been doing amazing businesses, met great people, got amazing introductions through the network. So highly supportive about that. And it's great what before was usually only on the golf court. Now it also seems on a paddle court, and the network is growing, and the quality of people is really amazing. It's a very social sport. I used to play tennis before, so it's more social, more fun because you're playing four. And business-wise, I mean, I've done several transactions thanks to the network, business-wise, and I have a couple of business partners through the network as well. So it's absolutely amazing.
Why do you think so much business happens in these not really traditional and not formal business places? They're not business places when we have coffee and we're just sitting down, we're all sweaty. We still have a lot of, there's a big knack, there's a lot of dynamism, there's a lot of enthusiasm about talking about what's happening with you. And did you have the same experience maybe in the UK or in Guernsey where you're from?
Yeah, look, I think sport just breaks down those barriers, right? Dubai is a different machine altogether in terms of networking and meeting like-minded people. Where I'm from, Guernsey, a very small place, very hard to network with people who are at that level. There's a lot of, old money, a lot of corporate jobs as well. So I think that the way the network's gone here is everyone is like-minded, everyone's moving in the same direction, everyone's got a common goal. So it's worked really well.
Especially in Dubai, people just want to do business with people that they get on with. Everyone's here to make a bit of money, get a good work-life balance, and sport's just a perfect way to connect on a social level.
Harjit Kang, commercial director of a fintech called Mambu that helps launch digital banks. From a personal perspective, you get to build a rapport with some great guys who then eventually become your friends, which is quite unique with some genuine people in Dubai. And from a business perspective, it really just opens the doors. The network is a mix of people from FX to private equity, from an investment perspective, structuring. So it opens the door to the world of Dubai with a great bunch of people.
Tell us a little bit more. What's the format? How do you do your Thursday sessions, which I understand is the biggest one that you have right now?
Yeah, Thursdays are big, between 16 and 20 players. I now pretty much know everyone's ability. Look, first and foremost, it's a business network that play paddle. Okay, so the business comes first, paddle comes after. But these guys want to be competitive, right? So I match everyone as best I can. Sometimes we do a ladder format with your partner up and down, and sometimes we do an Americano format where it's up and down on the ladder and you switch partners. So yeah, I try and vary the format. I try and keep it fresh. I try and partner people who might have, a benefit there from a business perspective as well. So I try and matchmake people as best I can, and that ultimately leads to business. And look, the free coffee always keeps them a little bit longer as well.
Have people tried to bribe you to, get a better player, a better partner? I know of some cases, I think.
There's been requests on WhatsApp. I'm not saying there's been bribes, but there's been requests, on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, I might get a message, or when the list goes out, I'll get a message as the list goes out saying, oh, I wanted to partner that one. So look, I do the best I can. Maybe there'll be some financial incentives in the future, who knows?
People say that Padel Connection feels a little bit more authentic than other forms of networking. Why do you think that's the case?
Look, the barriers are broken down as soon as you step foot on the court, right? You're not sat across a table in a boardroom, or you're not waiting in a reception speaking to someone's PA who's meeting and greeting you and offering you a coffee, right? You're either next to your partner or you're playing against two other people who are all playing paddle, right? So you're all on a level playing field. And I think it can be quite humbling, for those top guys who are, they've been there, they've made it in the business world, but they step onto the paddle court and you might have someone who's, on the upward trajectory who hammers them. And I think, that gives everyone a bit more of a level playing field and a bit more of a common ground. So yeah, it's about breaking down those barriers and having that common goal rather than, stepping into those very corporate or business settings.
100%. For me, it was clearly a case of when you're coming and playing with somebody, and either they're very good or very bad, it doesn't really matter. You're still forming some sort of bond in that moment where you're playing paddle, specifically when you're winning. It creates a really great bond that I love, and it's much easier to connect with that person later on. And I think what you've created, and what you don't mention as well, is that it's a very informal setting with like-minded people. Nobody's selling anything to you. And this quality of people that you have in that club is quite good because they're all doers. They're not talkers. And that's very difficult, in my opinion, to find in Dubai.
My name is Tom Kelly. Jax is an awesome leader of the whole group. I work for a company called Braze, which is a technology business based out of the US. You've only got to go out there for the coffee morning to see, people are talking about their personal lives, they're talking about business, lots of overlap, and everyone's extremely collaborative here, which is always good fun. On a personal perspective, I do lots of angel investing, and there's a very mixed crew here, but lots of opportunities to collaborate, do deals, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's always awesome to talk shop, talk business, talk angel investments in the community.
Would you say paddle in itself is more of a technical sports which requires a lot of training, or is it sort of more a mental sport? We know tennis can be quite technical. It's also clearly a sport with a lot of mental fortitude required. What's your take on paddle?
I think it's accessible to all, and that's both age and ability. Take my parents, for example, both, late 60s, early 70s, late 70s, my dad, but they've just stepped into the sport recently. Ability-wise, look, you can match people up on ability. You might have some really good players with some beginners, right? And it levels it out. So it's an accessible sport, much more accessible than the likes of tennis, badminton, table tennis, in my opinion, anyway. So I think that's why it's really special, and that's why it's growing so quickly. It's the accessibility.
That's true. In terms of network, you're now expanding a little bit more into your UK network because, well, obviously you're from Guernsey, you've joined us as well, and you are clearly trying to grow this network into something a little bit bigger. Do you think that your current paddle network is going to help you in your business world, in the career and the professional part?
Absolutely. It already has. For the last sort of 6-9 months, I've had introductory emails from guys in financial services in Guernsey who are in Dubai, and they're on a business trip, and they've referred the network and said, Jack's running this brilliant paddle network and these guys want to join. So yeah, we've already had a number of different guests from Guernsey. I've had guys from London who have come and join the group, and then they've referred their friends. So yeah, look, the network is expanding. It's being talked about in Guernsey, it's been talked about in London, it's been talked about in Perth. I've had people reach out on LinkedIn who want to do something similar in all sorts of different locations. So it's making some noise. Yeah.
Do you have any plans on growing this network even more to different locations or here? What's the future of the Dubai Padel Network look like?
Keep it organic is what I want to do. Good people first is going to be the focus. My only issue with going into different cities is I wouldn't be there. I guess that's what all, leaders, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call them, that's very hard to let go, right? So would I trust someone else to run it the same way? I'm not so sure. My background was obviously in sport. So, it's second nature to me. So it's easy to get people there on time, make sure the fixtures are correct, make sure the list is done well. It sounds simple, but not a lot of people can do it effectively. Yes, I want to grow it. But for now, I think with the way that Dubai is going, keep it here. Maybe Abu Dhabi's next, but I'm happy with how things are going. The numbers are growing. Probably going to put on an extra morning, I think, next year. So maybe 3, maybe 4 mornings. But yeah, what we've got is pretty special. So just going to, zoom in on that and hope it grows.
Keep the quality. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Once there's a lot of networks here that have like 500 members, and the quality is just really, really horrible. So yeah, kudos on that. Obviously, you mentioned people coming from London, from Perth, from Guernsey to Dubai. Can you give us your take on why we're having this exodus of people from the UK that are either visiting or actually coming or moving here to the UAE? Why do you think that's the case?
Tax position is probably one of the biggest. There's obviously been changes in laws and legislations in the UK, which has led to a lot of high net worth guys or business owners moving because, it just doesn't make sense financially for them to keep their business open in the UK. Dubai, GCC, Saudi, massive hotspot at the moment for new businesses, for growth. So if you're, a business that's looking to grow, the UK, you're limited by population. Unless if you want to become a global business, then, setting up in the UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai is, I think it's a smart move at the moment. Got the population growth here as well, which means you get more clients and customers. So, there's so many elements, so many positive elements to people leaving the UK and coming out to Dubai.
Yeah, and also the rain. Yeah, let's not forget the rain. Most of the guys who come here who I met were like, guys, your weather's beautiful. Yeah. And then afterwards it's tax. Yes, and I love the tax-free environment as well. But yeah, cool. And you touched upon one crucial thing. You think there's a cultural difference between business introductions in London and in the UAE? So what do you mean, like from a business sense, like a financial sense, or just in general, like I expect you to do this for me in London and in Dubai there's no expectation?
I think, I don't know, maybe it's a more regulated environment, so there's not that introductory fee that's in there. I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel like the common theme in Dubai is that everyone's here to help each other, but you will get looked after. If you do make some good business introductions or help raise capital is another one. But yeah, I think maybe London's a bit more cutthroat.
Good for Dubai. For people coming here, clearly a good environment in that case. As you grow your network, you're going to have different people who are going to come in. Mm-hmm. Have you already had any failed experiences within the networking or people coming in and that it didn't work out?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I'll call them teething issues. Look, different people have different views on agreements, right? Mm-hmm. I know the outlook in London is very different to the outlook in Dubai when you make an introduction and what the expectations are on that introduction. Whether there's a fee involved, is it 50-50, is it 80-20? So, look, there's been a few problems, I'd say, around that, on what the expectations are in the group and how I can manage that best. But look, that's been one, maybe two, that have occurred in the last, 18 months out of a group of 70 players plus the network's probably a couple of hundred within the, extended network. So I guess that's the joy of picking the right people, right?
Yeah, well, that's not bad if it's only one or two or three. And obviously, there's a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of different people that come to Dubai and would love to participate in such a network. How do you filter out the bullshit and the people who are just talking and not doing? And how do you really select your members?
I do my best from my perspective. I try and meet or connect with them. I invite them with, as a guest first to check they're the right fit for the group, get some feedback from the members when they've attended. But I'd say I'm a pretty good judge of character. I think I hate to say the word selected, but I think I've molded the group in the right way. And there's referrals as well. So, the core group that are in there now, I trust all of them to make good decisions and bring good people in. And, I think we've done that really well.
Do you have any recommendations on how to build your network? Maybe any tips or tricks or any sort of hacks of, finding how to find that right person?
I think the first one, do it organically, so don't force it. That's what worked really well for me. Lean on the right people for introductions. I think if you've got a group of, let's say you've got a group of 50 network members, you probably know the best 10 that will give you the best introductions and introduce you to the right people. But you need to go through that process to figure out who those best people are. So, old saying, you're going to have to kiss a few frogs, right? That's going to happen. And I think that always happens in business. But what you can do is start surrounding yourself then as you filter through. You surround yourself with, with the right people. And to go back to what you said, to surround yourself by doers, people who actually take action. they do it quickly, and they do what they say. And if they can't do it, they're going to turn around and they give you a solid answer and tell you, no, I can't do it. So, yeah, look, organic, lean on the right people for referrals, and just don't force it.
Do you have any examples of any frogs you've kissed, but also somebody that happened to really help you in your professional life that you met through the network, and it was just a sort of random referral of an existing member?
Yeah, I did. So through one of the members already, I think he brought him down as a guest, and really just hit it off in terms of business relationship, also a bit of a personal relationship in there. Had a common interest in longevity, so went and grabbed an ice bath together, separate ice baths. So yeah, there's been some great ones, and it's good because you know, yes, it's a business network, but obviously friendships are going to develop out of that, right? You're going to have the individuals who you connect with on a friendship level as well. So I think that's been a good example. A bad example in terms of kissing the frogs. Look, not everyone is going in the same direction and sharing the same goals, right? So there's been a couple. I'm not going to name them. I wouldn't do that anyway. But no, it's been it's been within the network itself. It's been pretty good.
So before we wrap up, for people who are coming here for the first time and looking to connect with different people and network outside of their kind of zone of comfort, do you have any advice for them?
If you're going into a new industry, build your own network. It's quite possibly the best thing that I've done. And it could be anything. It could be a coffee network, could be a walking club. You see a ton of running clubs in Dubai at the moment. Build your own. If you don't have the time or the confidence to build your own, join a good one. There are plenty of good ones here. You've got the British Chamber of Commerce, which I see them doing some really good events. Got the Dubai Padel Network. But look, you've got other paddle networks. Ours is obviously slightly different because it's more business focused. I've just seen others that are just open. It's a bit of a free-for-all. So it's a very, very diverse group of people who are just there to play paddle. But yeah, look at the networks that are out here. Get advice from someone who's got feet on the ground and they know the difference between the good and the bad networks. That could probably save you a lot of time. But if you've got the time and the expertise to grow your own, for me, it's the best business decision that I've made.
And if somebody wants to apply to enter your Dubai Padel Network, how do they do it?
Reach out. We've got our LinkedIn page, Dubai Padel Network. We've got our Instagram page under the same name. Send us a message. Come along as a guest. You can come and play, grab a coffee, or if you want to meet separately and not on the paddle court, I'm more than happy to meet individuals who want to get involved.
Great. Thank you very much for your time, Jax. This was quite an eye-opener. Thank you very much for everybody listening. I hope this was interesting and entertaining. For anybody who would like to join Jax's Padel Network, I'm going to put a link below so that you can connect with him on Instagram or on LinkedIn, and then obviously apply to go and play paddle as a guest or meet him for coffee if you think this network is for you. This is Peter from GCG. I will see you in the next video.